How's it going, guys? It's Red, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a super powerful DPS setup that you guys could be using right now, right after the December update in Back 4 Blood. Using this setup, you guys should easily be able to blow through Recruit and Veteran, and this build can even be taken into Nightmare. But before we get into that, if you're new here to the channel, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more awesome Back 4 Blood content, just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with, so if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, so here we are in the deck building menu in Back 4 Blood. This is going to be the complete deck list, so if you guys are just looking to copy and paste the deck list, now is your time to do so. But I'm going to be spending the remainder of this video just kind of talking about why every card is where it is, and just what the role of each card plays in the deck specifically. Now, the objective of this deck is quite simple. This is a 2 is 1 and 1 is none deck and an admin reload deck. So if you don't know how these decks operate, 2 is 1 and 1 is none is a card that says we can equip a primary weapon in our secondary slot with a downside saying we lose 25% swap speed, and we have admin reload, which says when we stow our weapons, it reloads with minus 15% ammo capacity as the downside for playing this card. So the objective of your deck is to just shoot all of the bullets out of your primary gun, and then instead of reloading, switching to your secondary, shooting all the bullets out of your secondary gun, which is going to also be a primary gun, thanks to 2 is 1, 1 is none, and then instead of reloading, just switch back to your other gun, and then you cycle that over and over and over again, so you essentially have a non-stop just line of bullets, and it is going to make for a very powerful DPS build. Now, the two primary weapons that I had in mind when I was building the deck, and the two weapons that I feel like fit with this deck the best, is Assault Rifle and SMG. But this can easily be switched up to like Sniper Rifles and SMGs, or like a LMG and SMG, just whatever you want. I personally prefer AR and SMG, but feel free to try whatever you guys want. So in the number 1 and 2 slot, we have 2 is 1 and 1 is none and admin reload. These are just the engine cards of the deck. This is what makes the entire deck work, and these need to be the first cards we pick every single time. Now, number 3 is going to be Guns Out, which gives us plus 50% weapon swap speed with minus 5% damage resistance. Now, I mean, we're obviously just going to be switching our weapons a lot, so we need increased weapon swap speed. And 2 is 1 and 1 is none actually makes our swap speed slower, so Guns Out realistically only does plus 25% weapon swap speed, but we're going to have more cards in the deck just to make it so our swap speed is basically instantaneous. Now, at the number 4 spot, we have Line 'em Up, which this is actually one of the cards that got a major rework after the December update. Now, beforehand, I'm pretty sure this just gave us like extra accuracy or bullet penetration with assault rifles, something like that. But since the December update, this card got a complete rework, and it is absolutely fantastic now. Now, this card gives us 10% effective bullet range, 15% recoil control, 25% bullet penetration, and 25% aim speed. That is 4 consecutive effects that are all happening with absolutely no downside. This card went from genuinely unplayable before the December update to an absolute all-star after the update. And in the number 5 spot, we have Large Caliber Rounds, which gives us plus 7.5% bullet damage and plus 200% bullet penetration with absolutely no downside. Now, there's a lot of cards from this update that actually got a lot of reworks or like tuning, something like that, and a lot of these cards actually got their downsides completely removed, such as Line 'em Up and Large Caliber Rounds, and even cards like Ammo Mule and Cold Brew Coffee. Like, they are not nearly as bad as they were, and they basically took all of the downside off and only gave us the upside. And Large Caliber Rounds actually used to have a downside, but it doesn't anymore, which just makes it that much better. Now, at the number 6 spot, we have Ammo Mule, which used to be a completely unplayable card in Back 4 Blood before the update, because it gives us plus 75% ammo capacity, which that's all well and fine, but the card used to disable our support accessories and say that we cannot carry any sort of healing item. That is absolute dog doo-doo, but now we get minus 5% move speed as the new debuff, which is absolutely fantastic. I will take that all day, because plus 75% ammo capacity is a lot, because essentially for no downside, we are doubling all of our ammo in our deck, and with us essentially not reloading and always shooting, we go through a lot of bullets. So getting more ammo is exactly where we want to be, and we don't really need more ammo than this because we have other cards like Tactical Vest that also lets us hold more ammo, but this is going to hold us off essentially for the entire game. Now at number 7 we have Cold Brew Coffee, which this is another card that got a major rework with the December update. This card now reads we get 15% reload speed, 25% aim speed, 25% weapon swap speed, and 25% use speed. Now, admittedly, the reload speed doesn't really do anything for this deck because we don't reload, we do 2 is 1 and 1 is none, but I mean, we still have 3 other consecutive effects: aim speed, weapon swap speed, and use speed. And I feel like use speed is something that's really underrated in Back 4 Blood, and I mean, it gives the AR player a lot of leverage in the battlefield because it lets us do a lot of things faster than normal. It lets us open crates of all kinds, supply crates, weapon crates. It lets us open doors, pick up teammates, I mean, save survivors off walls. It lets us do all of that for no downside, along with aiming faster and swapping our weapons faster, which, I mean, swapping your weapons fast, I mean, that's a cool upside, but it gets even better in a deck like 2 is 1 and 1 is none in admin reload. Like, with this combo, swap speed just is god tier. Now, in the number 8 spot, we got Shredder, which says each bullet hit causes the target to take 1% increased damage for 3 seconds, and it stacks up to 15%. Now, this card didn't get any reworks with the December update, but it is still just an absolute all-star in the deck and makes every Ridden basically take just 15% more damage, and honestly, by the time we shoot 15 bullets at it, it's dead, and that just means Shredder is doing its job. It just gives us more damage. It's just what we want to be doing. We are the DPS line. We have to be able to laser everything instantly. And Turtle Rock literally saying we are making the game so that going slow and steady wins the race. Now, at number 9, we have Padded Suit, which gives us plus 10% damage resistance, plus 5 health, with a downside saying minus 20% stamina efficiency. Now, this downside of stamina efficiency really isn't that bad because with this new December update, not only did all of the speed cards get nerfed, but Turtle Rock basically said that they're making the game so slow and steady wins the race. They're making it so playing slower is the way to go rather than just speed running the game. So the bad part about Padded Suit before is because it hurt our stamina efficiency, and the game was so reliant on just having a bunch of move speed cards and being able to just run for super long periods of time and just getting super far. But that is no longer the case, which with all of the speed cards getting worse and the game shifting from not being so much as a speedrunning game to just a slow and steady wins the race kind of game, hurting our stamina efficiency is not that bad at all. And the reason we just play Padded Suit over any other, you know, kind of armor padded suit effect is because the best one after that is Motorcycle Helmet, and we're not going to disable our ADS for some protection, you know what I mean? Now, in the number 10 spot, we have Hyper Focus, which gives us plus 50% weak spot damage, but with the downside saying minus 40% move speed while shooting or melee attacking. Now, this is a card that also got some work done in the December update. Now, what this card used to say for its downside is minus 75% ADS move speed. Now, what this card used to say is minus 75 ADS move speed, but I mean, the melee decks were able to just kind of break that because the melee decks, obviously, they're melee builds, so they don't aim down sights on their weapon, and they were just able to use and abuse Hyper Focused. And now, with this new update, they made Hyper Focused a little more all-rounded, but I mean, this is less of a nerf onto like the AR gun builds, I mean, than what 75% ADS move speed was. So even though Hyper Focus got, you know, significantly worse in melee builds than what it was before the patch, Hyper Focus gets a lot better in these gun decks. Now, I'm not saying there's no downside, I'm not saying that at all, but I am saying that this card did get better. And I mean, regardless of like the tiny changes to it, this card is still an absolute all-star. It just gives us such a big potential for how much DPS we can put out, especially with things like ogres, breakers, hags. Like, when it comes to bosses of any sort, we are absolutely going to melt them because, I mean, bosses have weak points all over them. Like, Hyper Focused comes in most effective when we have to deal with things like breakers and ogres rather than things like tall boys, hawkers, things that are kind of hard to hit their weak points, but the big easy guys like ogres and them, Hyper Focus is going to be an absolute god then. Now, at number 11, we have Energy Drink, which usually was just a speedrun only card, but this card also got a lot of work with the update, and now this card gives us plus 15% stamina, 25% weapon swap speed, 15% move speed while firing, and 10% slow resistance. So, I mean, this gives us weapon swap speed, which makes it almost an auto-include with this engine because it's just really good. And on top of that, we get more stamina. We get just to be faster while we're firing. And I mean, 15% move speed is a lot. Like, to put that into just like comparison for you guys, 15% is the amount of move speed that we got from Run Like Hell. And now we get basically pre-patch Run Like Hell whenever we're shooting. And I mean, we're always shooting, you know what I mean? And add that we get slow resistance on top of that. And for anyone that doesn't know what slow resistance is, have you ever noticed that like when you're running around and you get hit by like a horde of common, you slow down to like a snail's pace? That's because the zombies are going to slow you down, but now you are going to be 10% resistant to that. Overall, I think this card just has too much utility to just throw away. Like, that is 4 consecutive effects. Like, beforehand, how decks used to work, in my opinion, I think a lot of these decks used to be be like based on maxing out, you know, like 2 to 3 categories and then just having some downsides. But now with how this new update is looking, I mean, just look at cards like Energy Drink, Cold Brew Coffee, line them up. Like, these have 4 consecutive good effects with absolutely no downside. I honestly think that these decks after this update are going to get really, really creative and really, really good. Now at number 12, we have Reckless Strategy, which gives us plus 30% weak spot damage and minus 5% damage resistance. Now this is just a worse hyper focus, but I mean, it's still good. Doing the extra weak spot damage is where we need to be, but it doesn't really come in until we have to deal with things like ogres or breakers or into a finale situation, because I mean, I haven't played much of the new update since it just came out yesterday, but before the patch, the game had a tendency to kind of just turn into special infected spam when things like finales came in, and just having that extra weak spot damage to kill all of them basically instantly is just where we need to be. Now at number 13, we have Trigger Control, which gives us plus 25% accuracy with assault rifles and sniper rifles. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Assault rifle is going to be our primary weapon of choice, and just getting more accuracy means we hit more bullets, which means we do more damage. Now, number 14 is going to be Tactical Vest. Now, this card took a huge drop in the deck list. Like, this card used to be, like, number 3 in the list. It used to be so good. But now, it kind of gets overshadowed by just all the new, really good cards from the update. Now, this card gives us 30% rifle ammo capacity and 10% damage with assault rifles and LMGs. Now, I mean, it gives us ammo capacity and damage, so there's no reason we shouldn't play it. But, I mean, it's kind of just a boring linear effect, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really do anything. Like, look at cards like Line 'em Up. We get 4 different awesome things that just make us a very wide threat. Look at Energy Drink. I mean, it just gives us a lot of different things that just make us really good at living. But Tactical Vest, I mean, it just makes us a little bit stronger. We can hold a little bit of more ammo. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that great, but it's something you want to have on your side when, like, you know, Act 4 comes around. And number 15, the last spot is going to be Ridden Slayer. I mean, it's just a worse Reckless Strategy, which is just a worse Hyper Focus. But combined, you get plus 100% weak spot damage. Meaning, when you have Ridden Slayer, Reckless Strategy, and Hyper Focused all equipped, you are going to be doing plus 100% weak spot damage. You are going to be doing double damage on these weak spots, which are going to just absolutely melt all of the special infected. Well, that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Make sure to leave a comment down below telling me any deck changes that you guys would make. And as always, if you happen to enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Back 4 Blood content just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with. So if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And until next time, it's been Red, and I'll see you guys in the next video.